So this is another episode of Totally Detailed. I am Richard and my co-host is Adam. Say hello, Adam.
We're all doing all right.
Not too bad. And we have a guest here tonight from California. We're about 86 degrees. I think these guys are going to be a little bit hotter over there at the moment with all the heat waves and things they're getting. Certainly wouldn't want to be there myself with the heat at the moment. Jason Martinez, introduce yourself from Classic Detail in California. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
Yeah, we're brilliant. Thank you.
Just a little hot and sweaty, but apart from that, we're doing
here.
good.
Yeah,
Same here.
Have you got air conditioning in your little shop there, Jason?
You know, I have a pretty big swamp cooler.
Okay.
So it helps, but it's not as good as an AC, obviously, you know?
Yeah.
But it gets hot.
I think that's going to have to be my next investment after today. Oof.
Yeah. And it's like I said, it's just getting started out here. It's going to be hot today, and I'll be buffing pretty much until, I don't know, 7, 8 o'clock tonight.
Living the dream.
I guess.
What is it you're working on today?
Actually, it's a 70. I think it's 75 or 76 Impala lowrider.
I don't think I've ever seen one of them.
Beautiful.
Very Cadillac-esque sort of thing.
Yeah, it's about a 15-year-old paint job, so it has its defects and swirls and scratches and all that good stuff. So yeah, I'll try to make it look as new as possible and get ready for a car show that's happening in about a week.
Oh, brilliant. I like it like that. They go straight out to shows.
Yeah, exactly.
Brilliant. It's just, it just looks its best, doesn't it? And they ain't got time to for the owner to wash it and ruin what you've done. And yeah. Do you do a lot of that sort of work?
Yes, actually I do. I mean, everything is pretty much a classic car, a lot of show car prep, a lot of wet sanding, stuff like that. That's kind of what I do. Paint correction, all that fun stuff. Metal polishing, chrome polishing. I mean, you name it. Undercarriage. I mean, I've done pretty much everything.
Wow. Brilliant.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to learning a lot more about that side of the business. But we like to start these things off with the same question, just to find out a little bit about yourself, Jason. What made you get into detailing?
You know, it's always been a passion of mine. Well, I should, say classic cars and, cars in general have always been a passion of mine. I was always the kid looking out the window when my parents were driving, and pointing out certain cars, and it just kind of stuck with me. I also had an uncle that lived in the Bay Area, and he was a detailer back in the mini truck era over here in California. Right. Mini trucks, Mm-hmm. So he used to have people show up on the weekends, and he would do little tricks and fix little scratches and stuff like that. And I would sit back and watch as a little boy. And I always, thought to myself, one day I want these cool cars to show up to my house for me to work on them. And I made that happen.
Brilliant. That's fantastic, really, to get that, what you achieve, you achieved what you dreamed, sort of thing.
Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, it took a lot. It was a long road to get to that point. I started detailing when I was 17 professionally. Semi-professionally, I guess you can say. I kind of lied and said I knew how to work a buffer, and I didn't. So there was a lot of trial and error, and little burn marks and stuff on paint jobs. But I mean, I taught myself basically, and I perfected it, and I've been doing it ever since.
Did you start with rotary then?
What's that?
Did you start with a rotary polisher?
Yes.
Do you still use rotary today?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my first step. I use an old school rotary, and then I move on to the different polishers with the different millimeter throws and things of that nature. But I'm a firm believer in the rotary.
Okay.
I mean, I might be an old school detailer or whatever you want to call it, but to me, to get that show shine and to really perfect a paint job, you have to start with a rotary. That's my opinion. I may be wrong. I may be right. I don't know, but that's just how I do it. Multiple steps. And I mean, the work speaks for itself, they come out beautiful. So
I don't think there is a wrong, obviously there is a wrong when we're starting to burn paint and stuff like that and just being careless. But if it works for you and you're getting them results, then it's right.
Exactly.
Your way of doing something might be it tends to be we're a little bit slower over here with machine polishing. We tend to be slower passes and stuff.
Yes.
This is what I've been told anyway, compared to how it's been done in America. But if it works for you guys and it works for us guys, it's not wrong. It's not right. It's the result's the right thing.
Yeah. It's what you're comfortable with. You know, you see a lot of detailers nowadays on social media, and they make it seem like you have to do certain things in certain steps, you know, like you have to hold it a certain way. You have to do past certain way. You know what? Do what you're comfortable with. You know, there's no really wrong or right way. I mean, I guess there kind of is, but in the same sense, I look at it like almost like martial arts, right? Every style has its own concepts, you know? And I just think, you know, whatever works for you, stick with it and just and perfect it. And don't listen to anyone, you know? I mean, if, of course, don't burn edges and don't be careless, but if you're doing what you need to do and you're you have your own little thing down, roll with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Why change it?
Yeah, it was me. I was taught in America, you know, in the States, you know, in the sort of mid 80s with a rotary. So, I mean, it's similar sort of thing. It's the old fashioned rotary style, basically like an angle grinder almost, you know, with a machine pad put on it. And that's how I was taught, you know, at Harrow Museum and stuff like that. So, I mean, going back to those days, learning how they did things there.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, we're lucky that we have the polisher now to perfect it, because you do get wheel marks and things like that with the rotary, you know?
Absolutely.
So, I mean, I think if you get both worlds and you mix them up, you get outstanding results, you know, with just a little bit more effort.
Yeah.
And again, that's just my opinion on that, you know?
I think the way you're doing it, you're getting them results quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going to mow down paint and it's, you know, it's heavily scratched or swelled. And,
yeah, it's all technique too. You know, you can't just turn the buffer all the way up and just go to town on it. And I see videos of these guys are just super fast and moving. It's like, come on, dude, slow it down, lower the speed, and let that pad just work the paint. Let it do its level, you know? So, I mean, it's all technique.
When you're using rotary, what pad are you using? Are you on the old cheap wool?
I usually do linear overlapping passes, back and forth. You know, if I'm going down the hood, just back and forth, low speed. And there's certain little tricks that I do, like I'll mix certain rubbing compounds with distilled water in a spray bottle, and I'll let the compound do its thing, and then I'll mist the panel afterwards and really let the compound break down, you know, so you're getting the full cycle of it. Mm-hmm. Just little tricks like that, and it's always worked for me. And I mean, I've been doing the same thing for over 20 years, and it's worked out.
Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't stop what you're doing then.
No.
Yeah, especially with delicate paint like that car here. You know, that's an old candy paint job.
Mm.
So it's not the same as like pulling in a BMW or a newer car or anything like that. You know, you have to be really careful and finesse that paint right, because there's no margin for mistake with candy paint. You can't fix that usually, you know?
Yeah. Plus, type of cars like that tend to have a lot of sentimental value, don't they?
Yes. Yeah. And these guys, you know, they'll kill you over that.
Yeah.
People are crazy, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So is it, did you say that one's a lowrider? Has it got the full hydraulics on it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's got chrome suspension, hydraulics.
It's got all out then. Yeah.
Yeah.
There is a small lowrider scene over here, but nothing compared to how you guys do it in America. It's crazy.
Yeah, especially where I'm at in California. I mean, it's a way of life for a lot of people, you know, and these cars are like family members. So you have to have respect all the way around dealing with certain people, you know, and I mean, that should be any car. I don't care if you're in with a 96 Ford Taurus or something hideous, you know, you have to respect that car and treat it like it's their baby, because it is.
Yeah, absolutely. No, take my hat off to you, because you must have some quite challenging moments, I would have thought, working on.
Oh God, yeah.
Especially something that's old, and you've got like 70 years of history that you're trying to not damage. And
exactly. Yeah, I mean, a lot of late nights in here. Detailing to me is a lot of trial and error. You don't know what's going to work. Just because you did a certain thing on a car previous to the car you have in now doesn't mean it's going to work on the paint. So you have to really learn how to adapt and know how to work on different paint jobs, because every clear is different. Every single stage paint is different. Sometimes it's super soft, sometimes it's hard where you can, work it like a clear coat. It's knowing what to do, do a little test panel, take your time, study the car. Like I'll walk around, I'll sit and stare at the car and try to find runs, cracks in the paint, anything like that could be a problem during buffing. And I'll mark it with fine line tape or, just anything, and really know the car. So little things like that, it's about taking your time.
Yeah, we don't want to be rushing on something like that.
No,
Definitely
it needs
not.
to go through.
Do you use a paint gauge then?
You know what? I've been doing it so long, I am the paint gauge.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough.
I mean, it's a great tool. I could just tell. It's, I don't know, a gift, I guess. I haven't burned anything yet, so I'm keeping the fingers crossed I don't jinx myself.
Touch wood. Yeah, definitely.
That's some good going then. 20 years and not burning anything.
Yeah, that's good. Very good going.
Yeah.
Nice. We've absolutely skipped these sort of like topic questions we talk about. I told you I was going to geek out about cars because I'm in my element with this. So tell us a little bit about your business. Is it by yourself? How long you've been in as the classic detail? How long has that been on the go?
I think I started the whole classic detail thing about 12 years ago when my oldest son was born. I was in construction for a little while. Everything went to crap here in California in 2008, 2009. Lost my job. Pretty much lost everything. Lost my house. Had to reinvent myself. Tried to get jobs, wasn't happening. And I was always good with the buffer. Like I've said previously, I always had classic cars and I always kept them up to par, and people recognized that. So I went business to business, car lots, mechanic shops, and I got shot down left and right. No, we have a detailer. No, we don't need you, this and that. So I went into this one European automotive repair shop here in town. And I just went in there and I sold myself. I hustled, I told them, hey, look, I'm trying to start this detailing thing. I know what I'm doing. I'm pretty good. Give me a shot. And he goes, yeah, we have someone. I go, you know what? Which car is yours in the parking lot? And he pointed at a BMW. I go, what if I told you, I'll do your car for free. I'll bring it back in about 5 hours. If you like what you see, give me another one. He goes, you would do my car for free. He goes, I don't even know you. I'm gonna let you drive my car. I go, here's my license. Here's my address. This is for real. Like, I'll be back. And he threw me his keys. So I drove it home. I didn't even have a shop vac. So I pulled out the old Kirby out of the house and used the attachments and scrub brushes underneath the sink because I didn't have anything, And I did this car up. I mean, it came out beautiful. I buffed it out. He had a couple scratches. I wet sanded them. I buffed them out. I showed back up. He was looking at the car and he noticed a little piece of bumper about an inch and a half that I missed with a little bit of tire dressing. I was trying to shine up all the black bumpers and everything. He goes, you missed a spot. So I jumped back in my car. I go, I'll be right back. Drive all the way across town, go home, grab my stuff, come back, and I wipe that little spot. He goes, okay, can you take this one right now? A Mercedes. I said, yes, sir. I took it. And then I've been doing I did cars for them for a number of years. And that kind of helped me create a name for myself because of my work. Mm-hmm. And then, I mean, that's kind of how I got it rolling. So I actually started off working on European cars, Porsches and Mercedes, stuff like that. Yeah.
What a great story though.
Yeah. It's about hustle, Yeah,
because I think a lot of people just kind of chuck the cards in and that didn't work, and you just
walk away.
You've just proven that sticking at something and trying, and you got there in the end.
Yeah, exactly. And then it turned into the lowrider thing. I met a guy. He had a Monte Carlo lowrider similar to this. and he wanted his car buffed out, and I did it, and he loved it. And then he's a well-known guy. He's a good friend of mine. His name's Jose. I did his brother's car next, and then after that, it was just like wildfire. I did a car for it's funny. I did a car that I had my eye on since I was a kid from New Style Car Club here in town. Actually from San Jose originally, but now the president was here in town. And the car's been in Lowrider magazine. It was almost Lowrider of the Year. And I got a chance to work on that. I buffed it out, did my thing to it. And after I did that car, that's when the floodgates opened with Lowriders. And my name just traveled. I mean, I got cars from everywhere. And it just, I did numerous cars for photo shoots for Lowrider magazine and other magazines. And it like I said, that just kept going. It just kept going. My Instagram blew up. My phone number was out there. The phone was ringing off the hook. And, I was blessed. Honestly, it was a blessing.
I don't want to say you're not blessed, but to me, you're not. That was purely from you working hard and grinding and hustling and reaching for it. It wasn't handed on a plate to you. You got that car and
it was a lot of work. I mean, it to climb that ladder. I had a goal set in my mind. I knew where I wanted to be, and I made it happen. A lot of work, a lot of endless sleepless nights, a lot of hustling, but it paid off. And, I live, it's funny because people always ask me, why don't you go to car shows? We never see you at car shows. I go, because I work in a car show every day. Like it's nothing new to me, So, I mean, I've been blessed. I've been lucky, whatever you want to call it. It's hard work does pay off.
Yeah. Firm believer of that.
Yeah, got to be prepared to work hard. You've got to set your goals and go and get what you want, and you can get it if you're determined and not prepared. If as long as you don't quit, you're always going to win.
Exactly. You got to be hungry.
Yeah. You got to want it. Yep, definitely.
You have to have that burning desire. You want to be something. You want to be a good example for your kids or whatever the case may be. And that's what kept me going. And I'm still doing it. I'm 41. Just turned 41 in April. My body's messed up, my back's messed up because I've been doing this, my shoulders. But every day I'm pumped. I wake up and I'm energetic, and I don't want to come out here and I want to get things done. And you just keep going. I mean, I got people waiting, 8-9 months at a time, usually, to get the cars in here. And it's a non-stop thing.
Something.
How?
That's the cars you want to be working on, the Lowriders, 8-9 months.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I've gotten cars from Southern California, Los Angeles, and that's about 6.5 hours away from where I'm at in Modesto, California.
Yep.
So I get them. I mean, I got a call from a guy a few weeks ago from Arizona, and he's been following me on Instagram, and he's, he wants to bring me his car. I'm like, dude, you can't find anyone in Arizona that knows how to work a buffer or a polisher, He's like, no, I want you to do it. So, I mean, it's an honor. It's humbling.
Yeah.
Crazy. To me, I'm just a guy working out of a shop in my backyard, just doing what I do. There's nothing special to me. Like, I don't see that. You know what I mean? But I guess people see something in me that I don't,
Wow. I'll take my hats off to you. That is fantastic. 9-month waiting list on cars you want to be working on.
Yeah. That's staggering.
Because we hear it a lot, like over here, you get people saying, oh, I'm booked out for however long they want to say, 2 months or whatever. And I always think like I am booked out, I'd say an average about six weeks, but it's all jobs I want to be doing. It's all the polishing and ceramic coatings. If you're booked out for, it doesn't matter how long, if it's just jobs you don't want to be doing, like odor removal or something like that, then I'd rather not be booked out so long. But to say you're booked out 9 months on quality show cars is I'll take my hats off to you. That is phenomenal.
It's crazy. It is. I mean, I can't believe it. It's like, wow, okay. I know there's someone out there that can do what I do. I've never said I'm the best at what I do. I'm not a cocky person in that manner. I know I produce good work, but I'm not that guy that always, if you want to, I'm the best, this and that. I hate that crap. There's always someone better than you,
Yeah.
And the thing is, what's best for you might not be best for the other guy.
Exactly.
So that was a discussion that I had with on one of the other podcasts we did, and with Geon coatings. And like the guy said, he hated the word best, because the thing is, you could have a $10 product or a $100 product. The guy that likes a $10 product might not like the $100 product. And as far as he's concerned, the $10 product is the best.
Yeah, because that's all he knows.
Exactly, because that's what he knows and that's what he's happy with. Whereas the guy with the $100 product says, no, it's the best. So, what is the best? So, it's, you're good at what you do. Absolutely fantastic. 8-9 months waiting list. I just can't believe that. Working on a dream every day. That is amazing. And so humble about it. I don't know what I've got. Wow. That is absolutely staggering that, these people are waiting that amount of time. That is, wow. That's speechless. Yeah. That's absolutely staggering.
Yeah, it is. I can't believe it. It's funny.
It's the dream, isn't it? It's what you work for. It's your dream, and you're working on those dream cars, and you're living the dream with doing, with the business as well. You're booked up that far in advance.
Oh yeah, I've turned people away. I've tried to.
Yeah.
And I have people saying, "Hey, I'll give you an extra X amount of dollars if you can get me in a little sooner." I don't do that. I just don't feel right. I don't take deposits from people. I mean, I've had people offer me, here, I'll give you half down just to lock in my spot. And I'm like, no, I want to get paid when the car's done. That way you can see the work and you're happy with it. That way I know you're happy with it.
Yep.
Because I'm my biggest critic. I'm never satisfied with anything I do.
Yeah.
Everything I pull out of here, I look at it, I'll notice something. I was like, man, maybe I should have did another pass with a finer polish, or maybe I should have did this or that. And my wife will come out here and she goes, you're crazy. Like you must be, something's wrong with you. Because it looks perfect.
Wrong with us all.
I've had customers almost like tear up when they see their car done. And I'm like, I could have done better. I'm never satisfied with what I do. And I think it's a good thing and a bad thing with this kind of work,
Yeah, it is a fine balance.
Oh yeah.
Because you can get carried away, and then before you realize you've spent hours doing something you're not getting paid for.
That's my problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was Ivan LaCroix from when he was at Optimum. I was talking to him down at, we have a show over here called Waxstock, and he'd flown over to it. I was chatting to her about it, and he's on it about not doing work you're not being paid for. And he said to me something, and it's always stuck in my mind when I'm getting carried away. And he says, nobody ever orders a hot dog and expecting to get a steak. And at that, every time I do it, it's up here that now. But I still do it. I still go over and above.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I know guys, other detailers, that they'll actually count their passes, and they'll count how many beads of compound they use on a pad. I mean, that's cool. I mean, you must be a better business guy than me, because I don't keep track of that crap.
Yep.
I don't care. You know what I mean? If I use 10 pads on a car, it doesn't matter to me. It's part of the job. You know what I mean?
Yeah, as long as the results are there.
Yeah, if I use half a bottle of compound, big deal. The car looks great. You know what I mean? I don't count passes. I don't even know what that is.
I think with this sort of industry, like if you're obsessing about using how much polish and stuff, it's so, I know it's not cheap, but I mean, to us, like a litre of polish over here, something like the Rupes polish, I think it's about £30. So that's about $40 to you.
Mm-hmm.
I just think if I was that obsessed about £30 on a £1,000 job sort of thing, I don't know. It's minor, as long as I was getting the results.
Exactly.
Yep.
I don't care what it costs.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? I really don't, because that bottle is going to pay for itself and some.
Yeah, more than.
Yeah.
I don't know. Out of a 32-ounce bottle, maybe 10 to 15 cars or more.
It's pennies, isn't it? Yeah. If you're losing money.
I mean, I know a lot of detailers, they charge $100, $200 to do a car. Then I can kind of see, okay, well,
yeah.
I would be a little bit more careful. You know what I mean? But when you're charging a decent amount, it shouldn't matter what you're putting on the car. Who cares?
Mm.
I don't care.
What type of pads do you use?
I have so many different pads. It's ridiculous. I've been using a lot of stuff from, why can't I think of the name? Buff and Shine.
Oh,
yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I've been using a lot of their wool pads, their Euro wool. I really like them.
Mhm.
So I bought a box full of different stuff from them, and I like it. Usually Lake Country.
Yep.
I've been using them forever, so I stick with that. So I would say between the two, I bounce back and forth with. Yeah.
Are you just using foam, or do you go for like? Oh, you just said wool. Sorry. Do you use microfiber as well?
I have some, and I've used them. I like wool.
Yeah.
I mean, I like wool and I like foam. I just think you get a better end result. I noticed with microfiber in the right light, I can see a little bit of wheel mark, like a little bit of chatter, and that I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It has to be crystal clear. I mean, nothing's perfect. There's always going to be something. But I mean, it really affects me. If I notice anything, I'll tell the guy, hey, you know what? Let me redo the car, which I've done in the past years ago. I'm not happy with it. Do you mind leaving it here overnight one more time? He's like, why? The car looks perfect. I go, no, I see things that I don't like.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my name's on it.
Yeah.
So I've done that, which is probably stupid to a lot of detailers, a lot of business guys. It doesn't make sense. But to me, like, I'll obsess. After I'm done with a car, I'll obsess and I'll replay everything in my mind and think about it. And it's like, I could have done this. This should have been done. It's not perfect enough. I need to go out there, and I'll come out here with a light or, 5 lights, and just really look at everything on the car and try to get it as perfect as possible, which you're never going to get 100%. I don't care who you are.
Mm-hmm.
You see people on Instagram, like I said, oh, it's 100% this and that. No, it's not. I guarantee I could walk up to that car in 5 seconds and find some stuff that you left behind. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Do you worry that customers are going to phone you to say, I picked up my car yesterday and I found this? Do you worry about that?
Oh, hell yeah. That's a nightmare.
I'm glad it's not just me. I don't know why we do it to ourselves, because the customer comes and they're blown away, and then you spend the next 2 days thinking, oh, they're not for me to complain. And yeah.
For instance, I just finished the 62 Chevy Impala convertible.
Is that the red one? Oh, beautiful car.
Beautiful car. Did a great job on it. Guy was really happy. I talked to him the next day because he wanted to get some spray detailer off me. And he said his son took a pair of pliers to the trunk and scratched it.
Oh.
My stomach dropped. I was like, oh my God, like I did something wrong. You know what I mean? I just finished that car. So I told him, you know what? When you have time, bring it back and let me fix that scratch. A lot of people wouldn't care.
No.
Yeah.
To me, it's like I have to have that car right because it left my shop a certain way.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's like I said, it's probably my own sickness. I know I got the OCD and whatever you want to call it. But I mean, it's worked.
Clearly it's worked.
Yeah. My madness has worked, so.
Definitely.
And so, how long do you keep these cars for then? Are they like a week with you?
It depends on the car. It could be 2 days, 3 days. It could be a week. If I'm wet sanding, I would say 2+ weeks, because I like to sand the car down and then I like to let it gas out, like air out before I buff it. Just for that extra, I don't know, precaution, I guess, so it's cured properly. So, I mean, a wet sand job, 2 to 3 weeks, I would say.
Wow. That's a long time to working on one car.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you find there's many people interested in ceramic coatings?
I upsell it a lot to my people.
Okay.
I'll tell them, look, I can wax your car, but it's hot here right now. That wax, I don't care what kind of wax it is. It's only going to last so long.
Yep.
It's not going to have the water repellency and, the protection that you're going to have with ceramic. So all my cars that I do, I use a 1-year ceramic coating on everything. Just it makes them look good. It makes me look good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Keeps it looking good.
Yeah. And then, I mean, that's what I usually do. I don't really use waxes or sealants that much anymore.
Do you like waxing?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I've waxed since I was a kid, I mean,
I think that's why I don't like it. Yeah, I can remember being a young lad and my dad making me wax his car and stuff. And I think that might be why I don't like it, but
Yeah, I love it.
No, I never waxed again.
Yeah, I've started off with Maguire's and Mothers and everything else. Yeah, that's where it all began with me. Can't complain. Love it. So never really used much else, to be fair, when I've been waxing, apart from a bit of angel wax and stuff like that here in the UK, and that's about it, really.
Yeah, I've used that. I was using a company from, man, I can't think of where they're from. Vegas,
Yeah.
Killer Wax.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was using that for a little while. Good results, great stuff. You know, it just, you don't get the longevity
No.
as a coach. So
And
I'd rather just
coatings,
something that's gonna work.
I think coatings have come on that much now that they're just as easy as waxing.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. What's the coating brand you use?
For just an average coating, like I said, I've been using the Adams, the graphene spray
Yeah. Yep.
coating, and it works pretty good. I mean, I haven't had any problems with it. It's a quick, you know, coating to put on a car. It works. Cars look great. I do 2 coats and it looks good. For like a real coating, something that, you know, someone wants to pay for the harder shell coating, I use G-Technic.
Yeah.
2-part system. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
my
a fan of the G-Technic.
Yeah. Good stuff. You can't go wrong.
Yeah, very easy to apply. Very, very.
Yeah. And I've tried other ones. You know, I've had people send me stuff to try and, you know, not knocking it. It worked, you know, but just G-Technic, it's just, like you said, it's user friendly. There's a lot of things that you can use for it. Like they have the whole lineup, citrus washes and whatnot to maintain that coating. And it's easier for the customer, I think, you know?
Yep.
So I'll tell them, look, I coated your car with this. This is the website. This is what I recommend. It'll look nice for years. I mean, you're good to go.
Yep.
So
that's exactly
why
what I like. You can say to them, as long as you keep within that G-Technic range, you can't go wrong.
Exactly. You start mixing and matching, something's going to fail eventually, you know?
Yeah. Especially when you spend a lot of money, it's the last thing you want.
Yeah, exactly. You want it to last.
So if you could give some people who wanted to work on classic cars some tips compared to working on modern vehicles, is there anything they need to really concentrate on?
I would say take your time. Learn about different paints, because these classic cars, they're not factory. You know what I mean? If you get a Toyota, I don't know, Corolla in or whatever, you know the Toyota paint is going to be the same throughout the whole lineup, right? You get something like this, that's a 15-year-old House of Color paint job. You better know about House of Color. You know, do a little research. Is it a soft paint? Is it a medium paint? Is it hard? Little things like that, and just, you know, experiment. You have to experiment with things. Test panels. Take your time and tape up chrome. I mean, take your time. Basically, go the extra mile. Tape everything up. Try not to get, you know, compound in the jams and stuff like that. Like I'll spend, you know, 3 hours taping a car, and I'll tape everything. I'll wrap the engine in plastic. I mean, the wheels, whatever. So, I mean, just go the extra mile with a classic car. You got to really baby it. And you want to be careful, especially if you're using a rotary. You want to tape up all the moldings and things, because if you catch a little lifted area with that rotary, you're going to rip that molding off.
Yeah.
Which I've done back in the past when I was learning. You got to ruin stuff to perfect it.
Yeah. I'm going to say that with the Hock paint as well, you've got so many different variables with their paint systems as well, and different types. Like you have the flips and stuff like that. You know, the Hock system's really, really good. I do like their paints. It's good. Yeah.
Oh, it's awesome, especially wet sanding. It cuts really nice.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, take your time. Slow it down.
Do you use like a waterless wash? I'm just thinking of California because you have certain restrictions.
Yeah, I do. I'll use a lot of like IPA wash or a wipe down. You know what I mean? Rubbing alcohol, distilled water, and just really strip the car down. I'll do stuff like that. I'll use a steam gun with microfiber towels, and really, you know, steam the whole car down. Things like that. It just depends on the car. A lot of show cars, like high-end show cars, I'm talking cars that are probably worth $250,000. You don't really want to pull out your pressure washer and start hammering the car. You know what I mean? They don't like it, and I'm not comfortable doing it. You know, so I'll use a steamer and I'll steam panel by panel and try to clean it that way without causing damage. You know what I mean? Of course, if a car is full of mud, you don't really want to go that route, but
Yeah, limitations.
usually still cars aren't.
No.
Yeah, I can imagine you don't get many filthy ones.
Yeah. Then, you know, I'll use water. I mean, I hear a lot of people say, oh, you don't really want to wash the car, this and that. Yeah, you do. Wash the damn car.
Yeah.
You know, if it's full of crap, wash it.
Yeah.
That's how you knock the dirt off. I mean, use water and clean the car. Just use, you know, the proper steps. Don't be afraid.
Yeah, I'd agree with that one. I think some people overthink things a little bit too much.
I think so too.
I mean, the big thing I always hear over here is engine bay detail, and people are so scared of it. And it's like, you don't realize people drive cars in rain. There's not much difference.
Well, yeah.
Maybe not in California, but
Yeah. Wash the car.
Yeah.
What's the most favorite car you've ever detailed?
Man, that's a hard one.
I bet it is.
Well,
you know,
got behind you. Yeah, it's definitely going to be hard.
Yeah, that one's cool. The first full custom car I did, it's a 64 Chevy Impala convertible, and it's the one that was Lowrider magazine. It almost won Lowrider of the Year. I mean, it's a full blown custom car.
Mm-hmm.
The name of the car is Heavy Hitter.
Yep.
And that was probably the most iconic car that I worked on. Besides one I started working on called Breaking Bad. That's the name of the car. It's a 62 Impala. It was on the cover of Lowrider magazine a few years ago. And it's all Breaking Bad TV series. It's all themed to that. So there's murals of, you know, certain scenes in the show. And when I got the call to work on that car, I mean, I was shocked for one. I was like, oh my God, yeah. He wanted me to wet sand the roof.
Ooh.
And I was like, I'm going to take sandpaper to this car that's, you know, everyone has been anticipating this car for years. So it really made a huge splash. And I was, you know, lucky and fortunate enough to work on it. And I've been working on it ever since. So those cars, I would say. I also had a chance to work on a black Ferrari Testarossa, which was awesome because they let me drive it afterwards.
Oh, wow. Very nice.
A little bit quicker than a 64 Impala, I can imagine.
Oh, yeah, big difference.
I was just looking up your heavy hitter car. Wow.
Yeah.
You've got big balls to be working on something like that.
It's funny because when that car showed up and it was in my garage, I sat there on a chair and just stared at it and just studied that car it had to be at least 3 hours without touching it, and just marked certain things and really looked at that car because that's a car that you cannot replace.
No, it's hard.
That paint job is one of a kind. But that also toughened me up, I guess, in a sense with cars. Now I'm not afraid of shit. You know what I mean? A car comes in here, I don't care if it's a $40,000 paint job. I could take sandpaper to it with confidence. I know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it kind of broke the ice for me, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Do you find it difficult with insurance companies then? I mean, if you're saying like these cars are worth obviously thousands upon thousands and the paint jobs are worth thousands. Yeah. I can't see many insurances companies.
I haven't really had an issue. Usually if they have insurance on it, the full coverage, it's covered, you know, on their end. So I mean, I haven't had any issues. Thank God.
You don't want issues. Definitely not. Especially if it's got like the I can't even say the word memorial paintings. I mean, if you knock at that an inch out of it, you've had it.
Fortunately, a lot of these cars have at least 10 coats of clear over them or more. So you have a lot of material to work with. You know, you can't be careless. You got to take your time.
Yeah.
That's why I work alone. Because I can't have distractions in my shop. I have music playing, or I listen to, you know, old school Howard Stern or whatever, you know, comedians, stand-up comedians. And I'm just in my own zone. I'm zoned out. I'm one with the machine. I could feel every little whatever in the paint. I mean, you have to be in that zone. You have to just you're basically in a trance. That's how I could explain it to people. And if my kids come in here in the doorway or my wife, I jump. I'm scared every time because I'm so focused on what I'm doing. I get mad. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? Like, not to come in here, basically, especially when I'm buffing. So, I mean, you have to have that, you have to have that ability to zone out and really know what you're doing. Think of each step before you're approaching it. Like, you always have to think 10 steps ahead.
So you touched on that. So your workshop, your studio, that's near your property, is it? Your house, how would you find that then between work life and home life, and that switching between? Do you find it affects it a lot, or have you just managed to fine art it sort of thing so it works?
Yeah, I mean, I love it, because like I said, I have 2 little boys, and they're everything to me. You know what I mean? So I like, I put my buffer down, I walk out the door, I walk across the yard, I'm in the house, and I'm just in there. Hey, what's up, guys? I could check on them. I'm constantly in their lives, throughout the day, and a lot of people don't get a chance to do that.
No.
I'm with them. I walk them to school, then I start working. I look at the clock. It's time to pick them up. I walk to the school, or I'll meet them halfway, and I get to walk home with them. You know what I mean? I get to make them breakfast in the morning. So I'm happy with it. Like it works for us. It works for my family. I mean, I couldn't be happier. I mean, like I said, I've thought about getting a bigger shop somewhere else. It's like, okay, why?
No.
I like being around my kids. I like being home. So it really works out.
This goes back to what we were saying before about people say machine polishing, you're doing it wrong, you're doing it this way. If it's working for you, why fix something that's not broken?
Yep. Yeah.
Myself, I can't work from home with my wife. No.
If you've got a workshop at home, then if you've got the shop at home, why go rent one and give your business more expense? Downtown or whatever. If you've got a shop at home, great. It's brilliant. I mean, that's how we began. I mean, we began in a little shed out in the back garden, and it ended up growing to more sheds being built and more. And then all of a sudden I'm in the house, and that was when the wife said, "Get out." So I realized I had to get a shop, a proper shop. So that's when it all began, when I started taking over the house. So yeah, it's you got to do what you got to do. It's like you say, you got to hustle, and that's what you got to do.
Exactly. Stay hungry.
Yep. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
I think that's the big thing when you stop being hungry.
Yep.
That's when everything starts dropping. If it's bookings and your quality of your work and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. Got to keep hustling. Stay hungry. Don't get comfortable with the same old routine. That's a big thing. You see people and they do the same thing on every car. It's like, well, I mean, I'm sure if you tweaked it a little bit and experimented, and like me, I have compounds and things that I've mixed, because this one worked good for something, but I didn't like the way it finished. So I'd add something else that I know has a better finish that breaks down a little bit better. And I'll do the mad scientist thing out here. And I have mixes that I swear to God work better than any one thing that I've used from big name companies.
Yeah.
Wow.
So don't be afraid to experiment. A lot of people have this thing where you have to do this. You have to do a 2-step polish. You have to use this first. No, you don't. Who says? Did you write the Bible of detailing? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Do what works for you.
Yeah.
Yep.
And even if the guy wrote the Bible for detailing, was he right or was she right? At the end of the day, who's right and who's wrong?
Exactly.
And if it's working, like Adam said, if it's working for you, why break it and change it? If it's not broken, why fix it?
Yeah. I mean, I've got messages from detailers all over the place. Hey man, why don't you just do a 1-step? It's like, because I can, and I've done some 1-steps and they look great, but it's just not there to me. I mean, the customer would probably be happy picking up the car. It's a decent 1-step, but in the right light, in the right angle, when you're looking at it, is it really what it could be or should be? You know what I mean? Can you get more out of it? I'm always trying to push the envelope. How much can I go? Like how how perfect can we get it?
Yeah.
You know, it's
And that's
never going to
why
be
we-
perfect. Like I said previously, it's never going to be 100% perfect. There's always going to be a deep scratch that you can't get out without damaging something else.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But you can get it pretty close.
Yep. Have you had any like big challenges over your years in business?
Just getting it started.
Yeah.
That was a big challenge, you know. After that, I mean, the biggest challenge is keeping it going.
Yep.
You know, because you get tired. I'm not a machine. I'm not 20 anymore. You know what I mean? So the biggest challenge now is like, you know, how could I keep going with my shoulder? If my shoulder is messed up or I throw my back out because I have back issues, what do I do?
Mm.
You know, and me, the kind of guy I am, I'll put 2 weightlifting belts on and duct tape that shit shut. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And come out here and limp and, you know, do what I can. And I've done it. I've worked out here with crutches on.
Wow.
You know, I'll put a leg on an office chair, you know, because I couldn't put any weight on my ankle one time. I'm out here with my knee on an office chair and I'm buffing out a car.
Wow.
So I just, you know, you have to have it. You can't just give up, and you got to take that beating in life. You know what I mean? Everyone takes a beating.
Yeah. How's
Just-
COVID affected the business?
Honestly, I didn't even know COVID existed with how things were going.
Yep, that's good.
It didn't slow anything. Actually, I was busier than I was.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it didn't slow anything down.
No. I mean, like, in your sort of situation, if you're going to keep a car for a week and you're by yourself, who are you affecting? It's
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Not got people coming around all the time to affect them if, you know, with the COVID situation, because you're on your own all the time and, you know, the client isn't there 24/7. It's just you, you know, in your shop and your home, and that's it, and your kids and wife, and that's it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I don't have any visitors. I mean, rarely someone will come over here while I'm working. Everyone kind of knows how I am.
Yep.
They know not to mess, you know, like don't interrupt them.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I'm lucky in that fashion. You know, I've seen a lot of people that have shops and it's a hangout spot.
mm,
I can't do that. I can't work like that.
Yep.
You know, I don't like being watched. I don't like people coming over here. I don't like people talking to me when I'm buffing. It drives me nuts. I want to throw my buffer through the wall.
Yep.
You know, so I mean, so it works out for me. You know, I'm kind of a weird guy when it comes to working like that. I like being alone. I'm the Lone Ranger of detailing.
I think you just called me weird because I'm sat there thinking that's me. I'm a bit weird.
I mean, I would like to work with a friend, like someone that I'm close with. You know what I mean? Like you know, my brother has mentioned he'd want to learn and start working with me, and that would be awesome because I know him. You know what I mean? And he knows how I am.
Yep.
So we have that mutual respect. You know, to get a kid in here that I don't really know, or some person that's kind of a stranger, I'm going to be watching what he's doing more than I'm focusing on my own work, and it'll affect it.
Yeah.
So it's a hard one, you know, because I know I'm going to have to branch out eventually.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to have to get some help eventually, you know, but as long as I can keep it kind of the way I am, it's fine. You know, I tell people, if you want to wait, cool, you'll be happy. You know, I guarantee you. If you don't want to wait, that's cool too. Like I'm not going to beg anyone for work. You know, if you want my work, cool, wait in line. That's the way it is. You're not going to rush me. Like I need it done in a day. Well, you need to take it somewhere else because I don't work like that. I'm not going to finish your car in a day the way I do it. There's no way.
Yeah. Is your brother younger?
Sorry.
It's okay. Is your brother younger than you?
Yeah, by a few years. Yeah. Yeah.
Good. Cool.
I was just going to ask do you get a lot of that in your line of work? Like, I need it tomorrow, and you know, how long is it going to take? And
I have. I mean, I've gotten cars ready for the SEMA show, and you're on a deadline. They're like, look, it's leaving the mechanic shop. The car's leaving to Vegas tomorrow around 10 o'clock at night. Can you go through it and have it done? And I've done it, you know, just because I wanted to do it.
yeah,
And that's the thing. If it's a cool car, I'm like, oh yeah, it's going to SEMA. Hell yeah, bring it over.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll work on it and I'll bust it out. And I've done it. But for, you know, people to come over here, hey, I need it done, blah, blah, blah. Now, I have to want to do it.
Yeah.
It just, you know, when I first got started, I would just, oh yeah, okay. And I'd kill myself. Now, I'm on cruise control.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of.
You got SEMA this year? Will you be going to SEMA?
No, I don't think so.
No, we've
I
got
think I might go to the Lowrider Super Show in Vegas for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wet sanded a car last summer for the show, but then COVID hit and the show canceled. So I have to wet sand the trunk lid, and I think he had the hood repainted. So I need to touch up the car, and then I think he wants to pay me to go to Vegas. So I might go.
Aye.
To detail the car at the show.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I'll be the on-call guy. I'll be right there wiping it down every 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
Have you never been to the Vegas show then?
No.
No, so it's even like two great things then.
Yeah. I've never been. I've done a lot of cars for it, but I've never been.
Excellent.
Fantastic. Obviously, your social media is how I came across you, Jason, because people know, listen to this huge American classic car fan. So scrolling through, it's like, wow. Every car's just fantastic. And there was a car actually, it was a 64 Chevy, and you had it up for, sorry, not 64, 54 Chevy that you had up for sale. It's like a yellow mustardy colour. You remember it? It was only a few weeks back.
Oh yeah.
Straight six, and it was like ticking every single box that I'm looking for, sort of thing. I was like, I really want it. I was even showing like my partner it, and she was like, "You can forget about that." But yeah, you sold it like that as well, didn't you? It was like gone.
Yeah, actually, it's funny. I sold it to another detailer here in town.
All right, fantastic.
Buddy of mine. Yeah.
So, how important do you find that social media?
If it was up to me, I don't think I'd be on it.
Yeah.
It's kind of a distraction.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that's like the yellow pages nowadays. It's like the newspaper. It's everything wrapped in one.
Yeah.
So to be relevant, you kind of have to have it.
Yeah.
I get a lot, like I said, I get a lot of messages from people all over the world, and they're asking me questions. What do I use with this? How do I do that? Can you show me how to wet sand? It's like, I can't show you how to wet sand over the phone. But that's the mindset of people nowadays. Like, you could learn anything on the computer. No, you can't. You know what I mean? It takes, if you were here, I could show you within maybe a week or two, but you still wouldn't get it all the way down. It took me years to get into the wet sanding phase of, corrections and defect removal and all that. That took me, I was self-taught. I taught myself how to do that. And it took forever. So, it's kind of funny. Social media is kind of funny to me in that sense. They think, oh, Jason, yeah, you told me to use a buffer. Okay, well, yeah, now I know how to buff a car. And well, I don't know, man. Maybe you do. I couldn't learn like that.
No, it takes time. It takes a lot of time.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
we do it with training courses with the leather side of things, over the internet. And I've always said, it's once we've done this, we need to come and see you as well, because you can't learn everything. You can't, it's like some things you need to feel and touch, and I need to feel and touch it as well. It's a bit like you zoning out that car and, assessing that vehicle and looking around it for several hours before you do the work. And it's the same thing with that. You need to see it in person as well. You can't do everything over the internet. It's impossible.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's the same with people that send pictures in, wanting prices or quotes to do a detail on a car. I need to see a car. I need to see it. And they're like, well, it's just the average car. And it's like, well, what is your average car? What is your average damage? What is your average swirls? Because what you think is average, the other guy might think it's horrendous, and I might think it's appalling. So it's, and then what is, you need to see these things. It's impossible to do things all over the internet.
Exactly. And I tell people that a lot. I'll get, people asking me, well, how much to do a car? Or they'll put, how much did that cost on Instagram? Well, I'm not going to tell you, for one, because
that's my client.
Yeah, that's between us. But if you want your car done, you can send me pictures if you want. It doesn't really help. I got to see it in person.
Yeah.
So I've actually had people travel like 4 hours away just to come over with a trailer and their car, just to show me the car and I'll give them a price,
Mm-hmm.
and then put them on the calendar if they want to do it. But that's usually how I work. It's like, I can't give you a price.
Yeah.
I'll give you a ballpark, but I can't give you a price.
Yeah.
That's some dedication though, to travel 4 hours for a quote.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I totally respect that. And I try to, maybe hook them up a little bit on the price at the end.
Yep.
For traveling that far.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. You got to be fair, man. You can't get rich on every car. And that's a lot of the problem with people today, I think. They're trying to get that fast buck.
Yep.
It doesn't work that way.
No. Some you win, some you lose. Simple as that.
Exactly.
Yep.
So what's next for the business? We got any future plans?
Not really. Just roll with it daily. That's, I don't really want to get any bigger.
I can understand why.
Yeah. 9 months.
I don't want a 2-year waiting list,
Have you ever had a longer waiting list than the 8-9 months you got at the moment?
Oh, I've had people wait, a year or half, almost 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. See, for me, it's hard to juggle the wet sanding with just a regular paint correction, like what I'm doing with this thing, because, wet sanding a car obviously takes a lot longer than doing a paint correction or a buff and polish job or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's hard for me to schedule both things because it's just me. And people need to realize that, because I'll get people bugging like every week. Hey, you have time for my car yet? It's like, hey, man, I'm trying. That's all I could do. There's only so many hours a day. I'm by myself. I can only work so many hours, before everything starts breaking down. If I can't lift my arms anymore,
Yeah.
I'm going in the house, And if you don't like it, like I said, there's a million other guys that do what I do.
Definitely. What's the thinking about the Lowrider magazine, the car that was nearly Lowrider, of the year? What other than that sort of car show scene, what other sort of car shows have you had cars go into that are quite prestigious, like Pebble Beach or anything like that?
It's funny you say that. I'm getting a car in next month that's going to Pebble Beach. It's a beautiful Zephyr.
Yeah.
Chop top convertible. It's a convertible, but they chop the top.
Yeah.
It's a very expensive car, and I'm going to get that car ready for Pebble Beach.
Wow.
So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, that'd be good to see. Definitely.
I can't wait to see that on your social media.
Yeah, that thing it's bad.
Yeah, I like a Lincoln Zephyr. Oof.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
They're just beautiful cars.
Yeah.
Even before they messed around with, they're just.
Yeah, they look custom and they look like they're going 1,000 miles an hour just sitting still. They just have that look, real elegant. Yeah, they're beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of stuff I like working on. I'll spend days just polishing that car out. Like I'm not in it for time and for the money. Well, whoever says they're not in it for the money is full of crap, but I'm not in it for the quick money, I guess you can say. I like I love what I do. I hope it shows, Yeah.
Oh, it definitely shows.
Yeah.
It's obviously going to be a huge difference between what is very original paint on like a 50, 60-year-old vehicle compared to one that's actually like a lowrider that's had a modern paint job done on it with a clear, and isn't there? There's going to be a big difference. How do you tackle that?
Carefully. You know what I mean?
Again,
low speed.
Different types of pads, or do you still with the wall pad, or?
You know what? I'll use a wool pad, but sometimes I'll use a less aggressive wool pad, maybe.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like a blended pad.
Yep.
Low speed. Maybe I won't use such a gritty compound. Maybe I'll use something that's a little bit more of a chemical bite than mechanical.
Mm-hmm.
And just, you have to experiment. You have to, like I said, I'll do a spot where you can't really notice on the car in case something doesn't go right.
Yep.
And I'll test it out and see what it does. And it's just, you have to have that sixth sense, I guess, when it comes to paint.
Yeah.
It's hard. Sometimes some things you can't be taught, and that's one of them. It's like, you either have that instinct or you don't, and I think it comes in any trade with a number of years behind you. You know what I mean? It could be anything. You could be a chef. I've seen cooks that have been doing it forever, like my grandmother. She's an awesome cook.
Yep.
She's Italian. You know what I mean? Full-blood Italian. She makes sauce and all this other stuff, and she knows exactly what she's doing without writing it down.
Yeah.
and it comes out amazing. I can't duplicate that.
Yeah.
I get close. I'm a good cook. I get close, but she's been doing it for 70, 80 years.
Wow.
So there's no way. It's the same thing, same concept, I think.
Yeah. It's just having. Have you ever sort of had a car where you've done that on like a classic where it's original paint, where you've got almost through it and then something's actually happened that you didn't, even though you've done all the tests? And how did you, if you did it, how have you got around it?
No, I've never really had anything like that. To be honest with you, it's usually, you just got to be careful.
Yeah.
Peel back the layers slowly and just see what happens. I mean, if you like, for instance, if I grab my buffer and I grab, a wool pad that's made for cutting,
mm-hmm.
and I go up to this car and I have it full blast and I put a heavy compound on there and I just, go to town on it, you're going to go through that paint faster than you realize.
Yeah. Yep.
So you have to have that in your mind before you even do it.
Yep.
So I've been fortunate to where I haven't really been through that kind of paint. Like I've buffed out some cars with the patina look, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Where you can see the metal coming through. Just don't go over the metal part. Like learn how to feather it out with the buffer,
Yep.
And that's really all you can do.
Obviously with California, all the different legislations they have, how do you get on with that side of it? With so far as like washing vehicles with water and in the drains and that side of things?
I don't do a lot of that. You know what I mean? I try not to unless a car is filthy. So I've been pretty lucky. I haven't really had any major issues at all. If something's really bad, maybe I'll take it to a car wash or something and blast it there, like the undercarriage.
Sure.
I've never really had any major issues. You just got to be careful. You can't be careless. You don't want to put stuff in the environment. Like I use a lot of stuff that's biodegradable.
Yep. You
know what I mean? And that's safe for the environment, or as safe as possible, I should say.
Yeah.
You just got to be careful. You can't be careless.
Definitely.
I mean, I've heard of guys using gasoline to clean white walls and all this other crap. It's like, you don't need to do that.
No.
The technology we've got now in these products, and like what you just said about being biodegradable and stuff, I think that is the way the industry is leaning now.
Yeah.
I mean, there's one thing that gets me though is the amount of plastics that's in this industry.
Yeah.
And as no one really caught on to that and started to do like refillable bags or something.
That's actually, whoever comes up with like a cardboard containers for these liquids or whatever, something that you could recycle, is going to be rich.
Well, you get it for juices or milk, you get cartons, for your milk. And even when I've been into stores in the States, you still get cartons of milk or you get bottles of milk, in the plastic or whatever, but you still get cartons with your juice and stuff like that in. Last time I was over in Florida, I got iced tea in a carton, it's how it is, or you get it in the powder form, and you mix it that way, but you get it all sorts of stuff. And why we can't do this stuff in cartons, I don't know. I've been trying to look at it for years for our industry, and it's just trying to get it to work. And it's something that's at the, close to our heart about trying to get everything as biodegradable as possible. And we've got few things coming out at the moment that are like that. And because we're trying to protect our planet and our carbon footprint as much as we possibly can. And
exactly,
this industry lacks that. I think everything's put in plastic bottles, and they're recyclable bottles. But I'm sure we could, the industry could do, the manufacturers of products could be doing a lot more to protect the environment and, our well-being and everything else a lot better than what they are, I think.
Yeah. I think in the future, things are going to come maybe powder form.
Yep.
Certain cleaners or whatever. And then you can mix it at your house with water or something, you know what I mean? And you could kind of keep your own, maybe a bucket or whatever for that specific chemical that you're using. I think that would be kind of smart.
Yep.
It's just, you got to be careful. You don't want to be careless. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But it's like even stuff like, obviously being in business, I presume most of us are buying the stuff that's concentrated and you water it down. Why are we still selling stuff in like litre bottles that's not concentrated? I don't get that. I'm probably going on a tangent here of my own little thing, but yeah, why are we selling litre bottles that's literally full of water when we could be selling them a 50 milliliter bottle that they can take home and
Maybe they're
reuse.
making it so weak they don't want to give out their secret.
Well,
Yeah.
there is that. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe if you mix it at home and you added the same amount of water for the percentage of, you know, the chemical itself, you'd be like, I'm getting ripped off. I've been getting ripped off for 20 years, you know?
Yeah.
Who knows? I don't know.
And then you've got to rely on the consumer to mix it right. And if the consumer mixes it wrong, they're going to then start trying to say to the company, you supplied me this and the mixing formula that you gave me was wrong and it's ruined my paintwork or whatever.
Yeah.
You have got that side of it as well. So it's a difficult one. I mean, we've looked at it for years. We're doing things in, you know, sort of so that people can water them down. Because you know they're going to get it wrong because they're going to be like, oh, I'm not going to put as much water in it. I'm going to use it stronger. And then they got a problem.
Yeah.
You know, damage something. And because it's human nature, we all do it. You know, we get instruction, you know, you'll buy something like a kettle or a toaster or whatever for home. You're never going to read the instructions, or a coffee making machine. We all think we know how it works. We're going to plug it in. We're going to stick water in it. And then when it goes wrong, it's like, what the hell's happened here? Then we'll start looking at the instructions. We always do it, you know, and it's human nature. That's the only problem with it. I think doing that is giving the concentrations. I don't think especially on the consumer side of it, when, you know, the consumer side of it will not order that down to the correct levels. We as professionals, yes, we will, but the consumer won't. And I think that's where you problem.
I can see that. Yeah.
It's just one of them thoughts.
Yeah. It would be good. It'd be good. It would definitely be good if we could, because it would save a lot of things going out there. But it's getting that consumer used to doing that and getting it right. Because I mean, they will just try to do it neat and then they'll ruin it.
Yeah, there is that.
I
don't know. It's just everything about it though, because it's not just the plastics.
Yeah.
If you had a wagon full of bottles that are full of water, it's heavier, so it's costing the transport company, it's using more fuel. I'm going off on one. It's just something that I've always in the back of my mind that, and the last thing I want is for this industry to have the plug pulled on it by the government, saying from now on you've got to go to an automotive car wash for say because they're regulated, and I don't know. It's just a thought, and it's, you know, like microfibers. It's a plastic towel. It's it's.
Another problem is there's so many different chemicals for so many different things now.
Yep.
When honestly, a lot of chemicals work the same on different parts of the car that you wouldn't even think. You know what I mean? You don't really need, like, for instance, I use a wheel cleaner from P&S Detail Products called Brake Buster.
Oh yeah. I've never used it, but I've read really good things about it.
That stuff's awesome. I've been using it for years, but that stuff works great on the tires. You don't need a white wall cleaner. You know, they sell different white wall cleaners. You don't need that. I spray the whole. I'll even spray the fender wells.
Yeah.
I've cleaned engines with it. I mean, I'm using that one product for, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8 different things. So it's learning, you know, you don't need to have everything. Like again, you know, it goes back to detailers on social media. I know there's a lot of it's trying to sell stuff. Oh, you need this for this. You need this for your tires. You need this for your seats. You need that. You know what I mean? You can use Simple Green that you can go to any hardware store and buy a gallon for, I don't know, what, $10, $15. That Simple Green, you can clean your engine. You can clean your wheels. You can clean your tires. You can clean your leather interior.
Yep.
You can clean anything with that stuff. You know what I mean? It's one product for a wide array of things. You know, you don't need to go and spend all this crazy money on all these chemicals that are, you don't even know what the hell you're putting on the car. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's, you know, I think that's part of it. You know what I mean? You don't, if you cut down on that and you only have a few chemicals that you're using, you're helping out the environment, you're helping out your wallet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we get it as well. I mean, we have a leather cleaner, and then people say to us, you know, I've looked at your competitor. They have 5 different types. They have one for this and one for that and one for that. Can I have one for fake leather? Well, no, that does it. Why do you want one for fake leather? At the end of the day, it's just basically a vinyl. It's leather cleaner does do that job. We don't need to give you a faux leather cleaner when leather cleaner works on same leather. You know, it's same principle. It's and people are like, okay, well, I'll go and have another word with them. Go ahead. You don't need a leather cleaner when a leather cleaner works. You know, it's simple as that.
I don't think that's the consumers, though, is it?
I mean, you're good. You can use it on anything.
Yeah, no, it's not the consumer. It's manufacturers.
Yeah.
trying to milk it to get more money by introducing more products. I mean, we get it in our industry. It's like, for argument's sake, on all your Louis Vuitton and stuff like that, they have a leather called vachetta leather, because obviously Louis Vuitton is all the LV. It's a canvas with a printed plastic over the top. Everybody thinks they got a leather bag. They actually don't have a leather bag. The only thing on a Louis Vuitton is the top part, the different color that goes around it. That's your leather, and they call it vachetta leather. Basically, it's calf skin, but to the consumer, they're like, "Oh, vachetta leather. That's very special. It's a calf skin."
It's not a specific different type of cow.
It's just exactly. It's just a small cow, not a big cow. It's very, very simple, and that is the difference. And that is the trouble with manufacturers creating these names, because it actually confuses the consumer.
It does,
and that's the problem with it. And that's where all these different products come in from manufacturers, causing that confusion to the consumer.
Yeah, it's all marketing. They're pumping out all this crap, and they want to make their money. I get it.
Yeah.
But for the average guy, they don't know what the hell to use on their car anymore.
No,
they really don't.
No, it just becomes too confusing. You're right.
Yeah, it's dumb.
It certainly is.
So we've put the world to rights there at least.
We have, we've set the world to rights, and
We've Jason going up for what do you call it when it's not your is it mayor? Is it you get?
Yeah. What is it, mayor? You have mayor.
Is your local?
What was Arnie Schwarzenegger? What was he in California?
Senate.
Was he senator or something? What was it?
A joke.
Governor.
Governor. That's
it. That's it. Yeah. We'll put Jason up for governor next.
Hell yeah.
Why not?
Couldn't do any worse than everyone that's in office right now, right?
Yeah. I keep hearing that from people in California. I've got a lot of friends out there, and they're like, I just wish we could change everybody in office right now.
Yeah, I wish we could change a lot of things throughout the whole world right now.
Yeah, definitely.
The whole country,
Yep.
Yeah. So we like to close these things out with the same question. Like we always start with the same question, we end with the same question. And most people say it's the hardest question. And I'm really looking forward to your answer. Yes, not too much pressure. But if you could have told yourself one piece of information when you first started your business that you now know, what would that be?
That's a hard one, man.
Yeah.
He says it.
I would say keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change anything. Honestly, I really wouldn't. I would say, you know what? Go for it, man. Sky's the limit.
That summed up this whole podcast. It is that. Just keep doing what you're doing if it's working for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's been the podcast from start to end, hasn't it? With Jason, it's like, love what you do, keep doing it, don't quit, just keep doing it and work at it. The hustle at the end of the day. That's how it all began, and that's how it still finishes. Just keep hustling.
Exactly. Just keep going forward. Take one day at a time. Don't listen to people in your ear.
Yep.
Stay focused.
Mm-hmm.
That's the big thing. Stay focused. Watch out for the people that promise you the world.
Yeah.
If you do this car for $100, I'll get you 5 more cars, man. Trust me. This and that. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like, make your money. Don't listen to that crap. That guy can't afford you, for one.
Yep.
You know what I mean? If he's using other people, I'm going to get you this, I'm going to get you that. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Charge him double. He says, anyone tells you something like that, charge them double.
Aye.
Yeah.
That's the advice I can give you.
Yeah. When that 5th car comes, I'll give you the money back.
Yeah. Then I'll give you a discount.
Yeah, definitely. So tell us, how do we find you on social media? What are your links?
Classic Detail, Jason Martinez on Facebook, Classic Detail on Instagram. That's basically it.
Do you have a website or anything like that, or not? Or just have the Instagram and the Facebook?
No, I'm lucky to have Facebook and Instagram, to be honest with you.
That's shocked me even further that you're 9 months booked out and you don't have a website.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's just like you've taken the whole concept of business and hide it. Like
it's all word of mouth.
Yeah,
it's just that one car, isn't it? Like you said, it's getting that one car that you did, that low rider, and it just snowballed from there. It's just getting that one car, and that's it. We had that years ago with Mercedes. We used to do a lot with Mercedes-Benz, and we were featured in the Mercedes magazine very, very regular. And we did one particular car for one client. We got it in. It became a concourse car. We did it 1 year and it didn't win. We did it the following year and it won. It became concourse, and from there it just snowballed for us. And and Pete snowballed, and people still know today. Ring me and say, "You're the Mercedes man, aren't you?" We still get it today, and that happened like 20 years ago, and we still get it today.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it still happens today, and I've still got friends that I've known for 20 years that we detailed cars for, and I can just pick up the phone and ring them now and go and see them, and I still know them, and they'll still give me cars now if I wanted to have them, and that's the sort of friendship that it's built up just because I got with that right car at the right time.
Yeah. And that's an important thing. You want to become friends with your clientele, and I get calls. Hey man, what do I use? Do you have any more spray detailer or, anything for me? And I come over, bring a bottle and I'll hook you up.
Yep.
Can you show me what towels to use again on my paint?
Yep.
Or whatever the case may be? Yeah.
Exactly.
Come on over, and they usually stay here, 45 minutes, an hour, just talking about cars and just stories or whatever, it's important to become friends.
Yeah. You're just building that rapport, aren't you? And that trust, and then they'll come back time and time again.
Yeah. You're going to get his brother. You're going to get his dad. I mean, I've done a lot of my clientele was, someone I met at a car show or word of mouth. And then now I'm doing his brother's car. I'm doing his dad's car. His mom's calling me to do her car. You know what I mean? It just snowballs. If you're a good person and you're good at what you do, no matter what it is, it's gonna work out for you. People are gonna recognize that you're not full of crap, for one.
Yep.
You can't be a shady person in anything you do. You have to be trustworthy, and people have to be comfortable with you. And I have that ability to make people comfortable with me.
Excellent. Good.
No, fantastic.
So there we go.
Yeah, we both really appreciate your time.
Yeah,
So it's
absolutely.
middle of your working day, this, isn't it? So,
when you reached out to me, that was an honor. It really made my day.
Yep.
So I really appreciate you guys.
We really appreciate you being on board and supporting the podcast. And you
Yep.
was so quick to respond, saying, "Yeah, I'm down for it." And
Oh yeah, anytime. Yeah, that was awesome.
fantastic. Really, really appreciate it, Jason. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, so there we go. If you want to get hold of Jason, obviously via social media, it is Classic Details on Facebook and on Instagram, and it's Jason Martinez. So there you go, guys. Thank you very much, Jason. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on.
Right.
Next time I'm in California, I will see whether I'll be with Chris West, and hopefully I can get some time if you're not too far from Chris, because I'm not sure where you are compared to Chris West at Solution Finish. You never know, we might be able to hook up and meet up. Doing an open day with Chris and some training with him as well. So for guys in California.
That'd be cool. We'll go for a ride in one of these lowriders. I'll show you how these cars get off the ground.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be cool. Wicked.
Won't be jealous at all.
He won't be jealous. I'm sure a video for you, don't worry. I'll try to do a live video so you're middle of the night.
Cheers.
Adam, and just so you're not drooling or getting too jealous.
Let's do it.
Yeah, definitely. Cheers, Jason. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Have a good.
That is totally detailed. Thank you very much.